Hello and welcome. My name is Cramps, and in this video I will be going over all the changes to items that was announced in the developer stream yesterday. There is a link to the full patch notes in the description if you want to dive even deeper. The changes are tentative and might be changed during or after the closed beta. First up, we have Death's Fathom, which has had its secondary stats altered. Life after each kill has got a slight buff and a slight nerf to fire and lightning resistance. Overall, decent change. Arm of King Leoric has been reworked, the rep life has been increased, and the plus skills have been nerfed by 1, while the skeleton mages have been completely removed from this item due to a new item that we'll get to later. And now you can roll +2 additional skeleton archers or 2 additional skeleton warriors. So there will be 2 different versions of this Arm of King Leoric. His shooters has been gutted, while it has had a slight buff with the all skill roll being 2 to 3 instead of a 1 to 3. Both the lightning and fire pierce has been removed. Don't despair, however, Mr. Senpai something has said that he is looking to give this item a new identity, so we'll have to wait and see. Hopefully they'll get that done before the season starts, because Issuedus as it is now is looking quite tame. Death Cleaver has been reworked. The maximum Deadly Strike on there has been removed, and instead it's gotten the new affix Deadly Strike multiplier added with 50%. And the overall Deadly Strike has been reduced from 60 to 40%. It's kind of tough to say whether this is a buff or a nerf. For me, it seems like it's pretty much in the same place as it was. Maybe we'll see some more use from it this season, especially with all the new players that are gonna try Barb for the first time. It is at least a very good weapon, although very, very rare. Wraithskin has also got the Deadly Strike multiplier on there. That's the only change. Great armor. Now it's even better. Very underused. Try it. Flesh Ripper has had its O skill to Claw and Dagger Mastery removed and replaced with Deadly Strike multiplier. It's a item that rarely gets used, and I don't think that's gonna change. Kira's Guardian has had a big nerf as well. Cannot be Frozen has been replaced by Half Restoration, which is a big oof. We're definitely gonna have to itemize very differently to accommodate that change. So yeah, Kira's not as strong as it used to be. Another nerf, Arachnid Mesh, has had its cast rate reduced to a flat 10%. This is a big old change. It is still the only build that has +1 all skills, but seeing that it was primarily used by casters, this is gonna hit a lot of builds hard. Bonehue has had a small change with curse resistance. Doesn't matter, no one uses it, no one will. Mara's Kaleidoscope has had a slight nerf with the all attribute roll from 5 to 8 to 4 to 6. Small change, and it's not gonna affect a lot. Shadowblade has had its chance to cast Ice Barrage changed to on kill. Oh, it's the level that's been increased actually. Bad item, still is. Won't get much use. Put some FCR on there, please. And the Sail has gotten its Blizzard proc changed to Ice Barrage with a slightly higher chance of casting. This is a slight nerf in my opinion. Blizzard is way better proc than Ice Barrage, but it is to remove a lot of the screen clutter that occurs when you're using Endless Hail. And as a lot of people are using Endless Hail as, somewhat of a meme build with the O-skill strafe on there. So they primarily use it to proc other stuff. It's just to remove some of the clutter on the screen if they're not going to maximize Blizzard in particular. Mangsong's Lesson has been nerfed a lot. -10 FCR, -1 all skills, although the rolls for Fire, Lightning, and Cold Pierce has been slightly increased with a roll of 12 to 20 instead of 10 to 20, seeing as you only need one of those rolls to hit hard. This is just a big nerf to another caster item. G-Bane has been reworked, and it makes a lot of sense since Critical Strike has been changed a lot. It now has 200% damage instead of 150. And because of that, the O skill Critical Strike has been changed to 8 to 12% chance of Critical Strike, which is a great change. It was very powerful, and at least for Rathma on physical builds, you couldn't really use other items. It's primarily on Amazons that I would use anything else on a Japson, and it actually now opens up for it being more useful for that, with the flat 8 to 12% chance of Critical Strike being added to the passive skill on the Amazon. But yeah, it's a great change. It needed to happen, and I'm thankful for it. Steel Rend has gotten its crushing blow efficiency increased to the double, 10 to 20 instead of 5 to 10. This is a very warranted change. You couldn't really feel the extra crushing blow efficiency even when you had a 10%er last season. I tried quite a few builds with this. Fury Druid, Smite Paladin. And yeah, it didn't really have the biggest effect. Maybe now it will. Great change. Grandfather has gotten a bit of a comeback with a increased enhanced damage roll. Now rolls 200 to 275. Still can't repair itself, but it's better now. Maybe we'll see more use for it this season with all the barbarians again. Krantevomir has had its slow target increased by 10%. Not a huge change. A very underused item, but problem with Krantevomir is the damage. It's a horrible base, and if you want people to use it, you would have to put even more damage on there. Probably flat damage. Demon Machine has been nerfed again. Second season in a row, maybe third actually. The chance to cast multi-shot has been reduced from level 16 to level 12. And since multiple shot already got a nerf, this is a decent nerf to this slightly overpowered item, so fine. Spirit Shroud has been completely nullified, in my opinion. Cast rate has been removed from it, and then they upped the curse resistance a bit. This is to help the people doing low-level dueling, as this requires level 28, I think, 28 or 29. At least it was viable for LLD, and for the 20 people that do that, this is a great change. For everyone else, Spirit Shroud is out of the window. I am not going to pick this up during this season. Plague Bearer has had its roll on rabies increased to 4 to 5. Great change. It might as well just be 5. Like, it's one build that uses this item. And, well, earlier you would have to throw away 2 out of 3. Everyone that rolled +3 or +4 was completely useless. Wouldn't even slam it. Yeah, decent change. It's better now. Hellmouth has gotten its Molten Boulder on striking proc changed to on attack instead of on striking. This, as I understand it, means that it won't proc on any range builds, only on melee builds, which is fine. Undel's Wisdom has got a slight buff. Instead of 3 to 4 all skills, it now has 4 to 5. And with all the changes to sorceress items this season, this puts Undel's into the mix at least. You have a lot of defense on this, and defense, if you don't know, it's not a dead stat. And since it still has the 105 faster cast rate on this, this is gonna be viable at least. We have a lot of items that has gotten faster cast rate removed, so this brings Undel's into play a bit more, even though it's not amazing. Ribcracker has had its crushing blow efficiency increased from 10 to 25 to 30 to 40. Great change. I used this last season on a Fury Druid. It was not great, at least not for T2 bossing. So, great change. Hope to see Ribcracker be strong again. The Patriarch has gotten its damage reduced, and the minus 20 increased attack speed has been increased to, or decreased rather, would that be the right word, to minus 40. So you're going to be very slow. This item is again a low level dueling item, so I'm guessing that is where the changes are going to come into effect. Other than that, it's used by gold barbs. And so very small niche groups that are affected by this change. Acrest Devotion, small increase in the Blessed Hammer proc. Not going to change a lot. Let's move on. Puspitter, which was one of the most used items last season since Amazon was the flavor of the day. And with the new bolts that was added last season for Cold Arrow, this was the main choice for weapon. The life after each hit on this has been reduced drastically to 5 to 8. It used to be 20 to 25, which was absolutely ridiculous. You were practically never dying, and putting this on a merc, she will stay alive even without doing any damage since it's on hit. So this is a decent change. The poison damage has been increased a bit, so more damage, less survivability. It's fine. Crackle Shot, slight increase in lightning damage. Move on. Warstrike has had Deadly Strike multiplier added to it, 25%. The Pierce has been reduced by a third. And the chance to cast Nova has been more than halved, but at a slightly higher level. So you'll be seeing less Nova procs from this, but you'll get more physical damage. Flame Bellow has had its Holy Fire level increased, so it's 26 to 28 instead of 24 to 28. Small increase is fine for the barbarians out there. Odium has had its cold damage increased by quite a lot, more than double on the low end and almost double on the high end. It's not a very used sword. I don't think we'll see much more use for it this season. You can use it obviously for charge or sacrifice with Holy Freeze. We'll see 2 or 3 people use it, I guess. Crown of Thieves has had its life leech increased slightly. It's fine. It's a decent early mercenary or melee helm. More life leech, decent. And then Crown has been changed, so instead of giving +2 to 3 to Mastery and Raise Skeleton Warrior, it now gives an O skill, 6 to 8, which I guess will make it fun for leveling if you find this during a playthrough. Other than that, it's not going to affect a lot. Demon Horn has gotten its increased attack speed removed and replaced by +2 to deep wounds to better accommodate the lore of this helm. So there's a lot of open wounds stuff on there, and I think this is a fine change. It should be more damage for the bleed barbs. They'll have to find some IS somewhere else. Spirit Keeper has gotten its cold absorb removed, so Spirit Keeper is just getting chipped at bit by bit, and at some point it might not be the most used bossing helm for a druid. We'll see. Earthshaker has gotten a slight buff. The 2 to 4 elemental skills has been increased to 3 to 4, which is great. I'd love to see it at 4 flat, but 3 to 4 is alright. And the chance to cast Fissure has been changed from striking to on kill, which is actually pretty awesome. Usually I use this on a wind druid, not a fire druid, but you could definitely use it on a fire druid as well. Maybe you'll find some good use for it. Shaker is amazing, very underused. I don't understand why people don't use this. Why would you roll a Hodo and use instead of this one? But it is what it is. Use Shaker, people. Stonecrusher has gotten 10 to 30 flat damage added to it, which it used to have in Lord of Destruction. Now it's back. More damage, better, more competitive. Great. Gavel of Pain has gotten slightly more curse resistance. Overlord's Helm has been changed. No, the stats haven't been changed at all, but the base for the helm has been changed from Giant Conch to Bone Visage, which is a huge change, actually. Now, Overlord's Helm, most of you might even not know what it is. Maybe you've never dropped it. I haven't. It's the last one I need from the declone items. But yeah, it's a declone helm. It can only drop from T1 and T2 declone. And Giant Conch has a max of 2 sockets. Bone Visage has 3 sockets. So now it can actually get 3 sockets, which is a big buff, I would say. It's a physical helm, so you would like to put some big juicy jewels in there to make it even harder hitting. Great change. Harriet's Face has for some reason gotten its all resistance increased from 20 to 20 to 30. More barb stuff. And yeah, personally, I don't really have issues with resistance on barbs, but I guess getting an area early would fix it even sooner. It's fine. Very strong helm. Crowcore has gotten its very low amount of open wounds damage doubled. It's a great armor. I really like this armor, especially for leveling. It requires level 37, I'm pretty sure. And there's a lot of damage modifiers on there. IS, Pierce, damage, the open wounds, dexterity. Great armor. You use it. Guardian Angel is one of the items that's gotten the biggest buff this season, for sure. We're going to see a lot of Guardian Angels out there. Make sure to pick them up. Make sure to slam them if they have +2 all skills, which they can now get. So it's been 1 all skills for a long time. Now it's 1 to 2. Amazing change. Now we have 3 +2 armors. And this is a very strong armor. Max reses. Big defensive stats. Very cool armor. And it looks so good on a paladin. Kehagan's Wisdom has had its mana after each kill increased. Decent change. I would still love to see this also roll 1 to 2 to all skills, but it is what it is. It's slightly better. Ormus has gotten a big nerf, -1 skill to the random sorcerer skills that you roll on there. So again, this is an item that was significantly buffed a few seasons ago, and ever since then, the developers has been slowly chipping it down to make it less strong. It's still very strong, but again, a big nerf to sorcerers. Landsguard has had its faster block rate removed and Deadly Strike multiplier added to it to give it more of an identity. I would have loved to see that they actually kept faster block rate on this, because what it will be now without increased block or faster block rate, it's purely an offensive shield. I guess there is a lot of life on there, but this is a shield that is never used. Like, never. If you want people to use this, yeah, give it a little more. Lidless Wall, big nerf. No longer rolls 1 to 2 all skills, now only +1. So this is a change that is gonna affect 99% of all players, I would say. Every player that has a CTA, or let's say 99% of players who have a CTA has a lidless to go with it. You can still do that, obviously, but you lose out on 1 all skills on it. You do get some more faster cast rate, which makes you cast your battle orders and battle commands a bit faster if you hit another breakpoint. This is a big nerf, but it also brings a lot of other shields into play. So next season, make sure to slam every +1 all skill shield to see if you can get +2, because +2 shields are gonna be very much desired. Like last season, even very bad lidless with 2 all skills was going for a Vexarune, which was pretty obscene, but now +2 shields are gonna be very expensive. So Saigon shield, we have Steel Clash, we have Gurks. Make sure to slam all of those. It might seem stupid, but like a Steel Clash, it already has 1 all skills, get +2 on that. It has some all res. It's actually a very solid choice in that case. Bone Flame has had another nerf, 2nd season in a row. The Necromancer skills no longer roll 2 to 3, but a flat +2 nerf. Soul Drainer, again, 2nd season in a row, got a nerf. No longer -4 to -5. It's now -3 to -4. If we go back even further, it was always -5, so it's slowly getting chipped away at. So maybe people will start trying other gloves. Sandstorm Trex has gotten its fast run walk increased to 30%, which is an amazing change in my opinion. Sandstorm Trex are very criminally underused in my opinion. They are such a good pair of boots. 20 faster hit recovery, strength, vitality, poison res, max poison res, amazing boots. Now they're even better. I love the change. 20 faster run walk feels bad, 30 better. So on to the rune words. So first up we have Zenith, which has gotten its all skills increased to +3, and all the damage rolls on flat elemental damage has been increased. I'm not sure. So the 3 to 6 to 4 to 20 is what it says in the patch notes that it was earlier. If you look on the website, you can see here on the right, the rolls were a bit different. We'll see what the rolls are going to be. But yeah, Zenith, more viable for any build that uses flat elemental damage. You have the Salvation Aura on there. You have Run Walk, IS, all skills. Could be a very solid choice for some builds. Asylum has also gotten its all skills increased, not by 1, but by 2. So now it rolls +4 all skills. And the chance of proccing Fist of the Heavens has been slightly buffed by 3%. So, big buff to Asylum. Awesome. Last Wish has been somewhat reworked. You now can apply an additional curse. You have the life tab on there to begin with. So now you can apply 1 more, so you can have amp on something, or weaken something else. This does come at a big expense in my opinion, because the chance to cast Charge Bolt has been removed from here. And in my opinion, this was one of the coolest things about this item, which made it something that you can use on other builds instead of pure physical ones. It's kind of a shame. The reason why they had to remove it was because there's just too many affixes on here, and for some reason they chose to remove Charge Bolt proc. I would have loved to seen maybe prevent monster heal being removed here, or life after each kill, but I guess that comes from a server rune, right? Yeah, other than that, the Midor has been increased by 1 level. The ED has been increased by 25% on the low and high end. So if you want to spend a lot of Jar runes, it's better now in terms of a pure physical build. If you want to do some meme stuff with Charge Bolt, you can no longer do it. Fury has had its Deadly Strike roll removed, and instead it has a flat 50% Deadly Strike. Great. Chance of Honor has gotten a slight life leech boost from a flat 8%. It now rolls 8 to 12. This is whatever. Chance of Honor is great armor, but I've never chosen it because of life leech. And I don't think I will in the future either. Beast has gotten its flat ED increased by 15% on the low end and 35% on the high end. This is fine for everyone using Beast on a mercenary. If you're self-wielding, it's not because of the damage, so it's a slight buff to mercenaries. Principal has gotten its big old 75% proc chance on Holy Bolt changed to 40%. It now casts level 30 instead of level 25 Holy Bolt. Overall, I would say this is a buff to paladins, but a nerf to everyone else using it, which I think is fine, because this should be for paladins. So great change, in my opinion. Phoenix has had slight changes on the proc chances as well. For Firestorm in particular, it now procs more Firestorm. Amazing. And a big one. Probably the biggest one, the one we're going to hear about all season long. Infinity has gotten its 35 faster cast rate completely removed. Not nerfed, removed. Also, the enemy lightning pierce has been nerfed by 5% on the low and high end. So 40 to 50 now. But the cast rate that's a huge change. Now we've seen a lot of sorceress items so far getting big nerfs. Often it's the cast rate that goes. We saw Mang Songs. Shooters has been nerfed twice in a row. This is big stuff. I don't think we'll be seeing a lot of self-wielding sorceresses with Infinity anymore. So this is going to go to the mercenary instead. So every lightning sorceress is probably going to use Infinity on a merc again, like they used to back in the old days. So I don't know. Feels like a step back, but it's whatever. It's a big change. And we'll see if it sticks. Rapture has gotten an increase in the low resist procs from 30% to 47%. It's fine. I'm not the biggest fan of this item. I don't think it's worth the runes you put in there, but now at least it is better. And now on to some of the new items. Now I've gone over most of these earlier, so I'll be a bit brief. The first item here is a sorcerer's orb called Skyfall. It's a lightning orb. So this was announced before all the nerfs to lightning specific items for sorcerers. So we're probably going to see people experiment a lot with this. I do think you need a very specific pair of slams on here and 2 sockets to make it viable. Like the 20 FCR on there is so low. And getting a 200 FCR Sork with this is going to be... It's going to be very tough. Yeah. It seems all right. At least I think it's a lot better than the other new orb, which is for fire. Again, it has +4 skills, has 20 faster cast rate. This one has some energy shield, cannot be frozen, cold res. The first time I looked at it, I thought cannot be frozen on there was very bad, especially since most fire sorcerers would be using Kira's, but now we see that Kira's has gotten its cannot be frozen halved, so it's now half race duration. So that makes it slightly better, I guess. By nerfing another item, this becomes more viable. But yeah, this is meant for a fire sork that's using energy shield. A lot of mana, plus skills to energy shield. And yeah. Sage's Defiance. Again, is a cast item, 20 FCR, and big PDR, and life after each kill on a helm. It does require a lot of strength. It has no added damage modifiers of any kind, no skills, no nothing. This is probably mostly going to be a buzzer item. I'm not sure yet which builds would utilize it best, but at least it's very cool art. Love the art. Magneto in PD2. Who would have thought? Nethercrux is a new Necromancer wand. This is why we saw the changes to Arm of King Leoric. It had its mages removed. They've been put on this new item. So as you see, it has 2 Necromancer skills. It has +2 maximum skeleton mages, so you can summon 2 more. Some run walk on there. +2 revive, mages, and mastery. And 75 PLR, which makes it very interesting, the 75 PLR. It is definitely going to be used by a lot of necromancers doing Rathma. Very cool item. High proof. Then we have the Giant Maimer, which is a new barbarian weapon that has a 25% chance to cast level 32 Warcry and striking. So this is going to be utilized by Leap and by Whirlwind in most cases. It is in a Colossus Vault base, which has a terrible minimum damage. That's why we have a huge added minimum damage here. It rose 120 to 160. Even with that, as you see on the item here, the minimum damage is very low. I think the ED needs to be upped a bit on this, but looks like a very fun item. We are going to see a lot of people running around with that on the barbarians early on. And we're going to see how people utilize it, if they think it's strong enough. But it might be an item that have quite a bit of value. It kind of depends on the drop rates. We'll see. And a new Paladin Shield. Ephemeral. Hope I said that right. Has a chance to cast slow movement on block, which is a great defensive option on there. The rest of the stuff is almost all damage increases, +4 skills, 28 fast cast rate, some attributes, half freeze, and some holy shield. So this is going to be very good for a Hamadan build, for sure. The +2 holy shield makes it so that you don't have to put 1 point in that. If you're doing Holy Bolt or Fist of the Heavens, doesn't matter. You have to go down the right side of the skill tree and get Holy Shield on the way, so it increases it a bit. Now there is no resistance on here, which is a bit worrisome, but I guess if you get some holes in it, you will put runes or diamonds in there. Seeing that it's gonna be used by builds that have magic damage, and there are no magic facets, so you're not gonna put facets in here. So this is gonna be your base for resistances, I would assume. But yeah, very cool. Caster shield, 420. I don't know how he came up with that. But yeah, that was it. A long one this time. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, please like the video, subscribe to the channel. I'm very close to hitting 500 subscribers, which is a small sub goal of mine this season. I'll finally get monetized and start making millions off of YouTube. Yeah. Peace, boys.